Hey guys! Imagine holding in your hand a small piece of American history that, at first glance, looks like any ordinary change you might get back from a grocery store purchase, yet hidden within its metal surface lies a value so staggering that it could change a person's life in an instant. And that is exactly the case with the rare and fascinating 1988 USA $quarter coin. A coin that has recently made headlines and stirred immense excitement in the world of collectors and treasure hunters due to its mind-blowing estimated face value of $9.2 million, making it one of the most sought-after and legendary pieces in modern numismatic history. And to understand how such an ordinary-looking coin could command such an extraordinary value, we need to step back into the rich and often unpredictable world of coin minting, errors, rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. Because the 1988 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, identifiable by its small D mint mark, during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of quarters for circulation, and yet, out of those millions, only a minuscule handful, some say possibly only one or two, possessed the unique combination of condition, striking errors, and historical context that give them such astronomical value. And while most quarters from 1988 are worth exactly 25 cents, the rare error variations are where the true magic lies, as collectors have long known that coins with double die strikes, off-center errors, or even planchet anomalies can skyrocket in value due to their scarcity, with the 1988 D's million-dollar reputation rooted in reports of a few coins being struck with an extraordinary minting mistake involving a transitional die error, where an older die design was unintentionally used, creating a unique blend of details unseen on standard quarters of the time. And when such a coin surfaces in pristine condition, graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services, it becomes a dream acquisition for deep-pocketed collectors who understand the intersection of rarity, demand, and condition. And it's worth noting that the numismatic market is driven heavily by stories and provenance, meaning that the history of the specific coin, who owned it, where it was found, how it was preserved, can add to its allure and push its auction price into record-breaking territory. And this is precisely what happened when a 1988 D quarter with impeccable condition and the rare error pattern appeared in a high-profile coin auction, igniting a bidding war among elite collectors and investors who recognized its once-in-a-lifetime nature, driving the final hammer price to a staggering $9.2 million, a number that now stands as a benchmark in modern U.S. coin collecting and serves as a reminder that extraordinary treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. And this incredible story has inspired countless coin enthusiasts to start checking their change more carefully, scouring old coin jars, and even attending estate sales and flea markets in hopes of stumbling across a similar hidden gem. And the fascinating part is that such finds are not pure fantasy. History is full of examples where everyday people have discovered rare coins worth life-changing amounts of money, with the key to success being knowledge, patience, and a keen eye for the smallest of details, because to the untrained eye, a valuable mint error might look like a defect or wear, but to a skilled collector, it's a golden ticket. And in the case of the 1988 D quarter, the combination of historical period, minting anomaly, and preservation under near-perfect conditions has made it a legendary piece in the hobby, comparable in lore to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1804 draped bust dollar, coins whose market values and reputations have endured for decades. And when we think about the psychology of collecting, it's easy to see why a single quarter could reach multi-million-dollar status. Humans are drawn to rarity, uniqueness, and the thrill of owning something that almost no one else on Earth possesses, and high-end coin collecting has become as much an investment market as an aesthetic pursuit, with wealthy individuals and investment groups seeing rare coins as tangible assets that not only hold value but can appreciate significantly over time, making a coin like the 1988 D quarter not just a collectible but a potential financial powerhouse. And it's important to remember that while the average person might never hold a $9.2 million quarter, the story itself fuels interest in coin collecting at all levels, reminding people that history, art, and economics are all intertwined in these small metallic artifacts. And if we take a moment to appreciate the artistry of the Washington quarter design, First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, it's fascinating to realize that by 1988, the design had already become a beloved staple of American currency. Yet even in such a standardized production process, anomalies could slip through, and those anomalies, instead of being discarded, sometimes made their way into circulation, where they quietly existed for years before being recognized for their true worth. And there's a romantic aspect to the idea that such an extraordinary piece of wealth could be hiding in plain sight, possibly passing through hundreds of hands before anyone realized its significance, which only adds to the legend and makes stories like the 1988 decoder so captivating, because it combines mystery, luck, history, and the enduring human fascination with treasure hunting. And for those who might wonder whether they have a fortune sitting in their pocket change right now, the best advice is to learn about coin grading, familiarize yourself with mint marks, and pay attention to details like doubling, off-centering, unusual textures, or mismatched designs, as these could be signs of a valuable error. Coin. And while most coins will be worth only their face value, the thrill lies in knowing that exceptions exist and that lightning can indeed strike in the world of numismatics. And the 1988 decoder's record-breaking sale is proof that this market still has the power to surprise and inspire. And whether you're a casual hobbyist or a seasoned dealer, stories like this are what keep the hunt alive. So if you've enjoyed diving into the fascinating journey of how a seemingly ordinary coin became a $9.2 million legend, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible tales of rare treasures and the untold stories behind them. Next, 1995 decoder dollar coin. Imagine holding in your hand a coin so small and ordinary in appearance that most people would toss it into a change jar without a second thought. Yet this very coin could secretly be worth a staggering $3 million. And that is exactly the jaw-dropping reality behind the legendary 1995 DUSA quarter dollar. A piece of American currency that has taken the numismatic world by storm, captivating collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike with its mind-blowing value, fascinating backstory, and the countless mysteries that surround its creation and survival. Because at first glance, it looks just like any other quarter minted in 1995 with the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the iconic eagle design on the reverse. But hidden beneath that everyday facade is a combination of minting quirks, rarity, and historical context that elevate this coin from pocket change to a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And to truly understand why this coin is so special, we need to dive deep into the events of the mid-1990s, when the Denver Mint was producing millions of quarters for circulation during a period when the United States economy was bustling, technology was advancing, and the collecting hobby was growing steadily in popularity. Yet among those millions of coins, an astonishingly small handful of 1995 decorders were struck under conditions that unknowingly gave them features so rare and unique that decades later they would become the holy grail of modern coinage, with experts speculating about misaligned dies, double strikes, planchet anomalies, and even experimental compositions that might have been tested before the mint officially transitioned certain production processes. And while no single theory has been proven beyond doubt, the fact remains that certain specimens of the 1995 decoder possess telltale characteristics that distinguish them from the ordinary: slight variations in the font of the date, minute, differences in the depth of the strike, unusual luster caused by atypical metal flow during minting, and in some cases even dramatic mint errors like off-center strikes or doubled dies that instantly set them apart. And the most valuable examples are often those that have survived in pristine condition, untouched by decades of circulation, preserved in the same brilliant state as the day they left the Denver Mint. Their sharp details and original mint luster acting as a time capsule from 1995. Which is no easy feat considering how quickly coins in circulation can pick up scratches, dings, and general wear, meaning that the pool of surviving high-grade specimens is extremely small. And when you combine that scarcity with a passionate collector market that is willing to pay astronomical sums for the best of the best, you get the perfect recipe for a coin worth millions. And in the case of the most famous 1995 decoder, the one that fetched an incredible $3 million, the story reads like a modern-day treasure hunt, with a sharp-eyed collector discovering it not in some dusty old vault or high-end auction catalog but in everyday pocket change, recognizing the unusual details, sending it off for professional grading, and watching in awe as it came back with a near-perfect grade and confirmation of its exceptional rarity. A result that sparked a bidding war among deep-pocketed collectors and investors who knew they were competing for a once-in-a-lifetime prize, and the sale sent shockwaves through the coin community, inspiring thousands of people to start checking their own change, searching for that elusive coin that could turn an ordinary day into a life-changing payday, and beyond the financial value. The 1995 D-quarter carries immense historical and cultural significance because it represents an era of American coinage that was soon to change dramatically with the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, marking the end of a design era and adding a layer of nostalgia for collectors who appreciate the traditional eagle reverse that had graced quarters for decades. And so when we look at this coin, we are not just seeing a piece of metal, we are seeing a rare survivor from a bygone chapter of U.S. mint history, a tangible artifact that connects us to the artistry, craftsmanship, and occasional unpredictability of the minting process. And this is why stories of rare coins like the 1995 D-quarter continue to fascinate, because they prove that treasure can be hiding in plain sight, that history can live in your pocket, and that sometimes the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is nothing more than a few microns of metal struck slightly differently decades ago. And if you are wondering whether you might have one of these treasures, the first step is to examine your quarters closely, looking for any unusual features, consulting reputable coin guides. And if something seems off, getting it professionally graded, because while the odds are slim, they are not zero. And every great discovery starts with someone paying attention to the little details others overlook. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that you might just be the next person to find a multimillion-dollar coin. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating story of the 1995 D-quarter dollar and its jaw-dropping $3 million value, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. Next, 1997 P-quarter dollar coin. Now today we are going to explore one of the most fascinating modern numismatic stories you could imagine because we are talking about the 1997 P-quarter dollar coin. A coin that in most cases is worth exactly 25 cents but in an extremely rare and specific instance has been known to reach an unbelievable market value of $1.63 million, all because of errors, minting mistakes, and a perfect storm of factors that make it one of the most coveted pieces among collectors and investors in the modern era. And the beauty of this story is that it demonstrates how a coin that you or I might overlook in our loose change can actually be a once-in-a-lifetime find. So buckle up because this is not just about a small piece of metal, it's about history, human error, market psychology, and the thrill of the hunt, and the journey begins in 1997 at the Philadelphia Mint. Identified by the small P mint mark on the obverse of the coin just next to George Washington's ponytail, where millions of Washington quarters were produced for everyday circulation, but as history has shown us, even in the most tightly controlled production environments, mistakes can and do happen, and when they happen in just the right way, the results can be breathtakingly valuable, and in the case of the 1997 P-quarter that sold for $1.63 million, it is believed that several rare errors converged, beginning with a striking anomaly known as a double die obverse where the hub imprints the design onto the die twice in slightly different positions, causing certain features, like the date, the word Liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," to appear doubled under magnification. And this doubling is not only a collector's dream, but when combined with other anomalies, it becomes exponentially more desirable. And here's where the story gets even better because reports from professional coin graders suggest that this particular coin may also have been struck on a transitional planchet, meaning the blank metal disc intended for another coin type or another year's metal composition was used in error, creating a hybrid that should not exist. And when you combine a wrong planchet error with a high-grade double die strike, the coin moves from being merely rare to being virtually unique, and uniqueness in numismatics is the golden key to astronomical value. But the magic doesn't end there, because this 1997 P quarter also displayed what experts believe to be a partial collar strike, an error that occurs when the coin is not fully seated in the collar die during striking, causing part of the edge to be missing or distorted. And these little physical oddities, when preserved in mint state condition without the scratches, dings, and wear of circulation, send collectors into bidding frenzies. And what's remarkable is that even though millions of people handled quarters from this year without giving them a second thought, one lucky individual either spotted this one early or kept it tucked away in a collection for decades, allowing it to survive in impeccable condition until it was finally graded, authenticated, and brought to auction. And once the coin was certified by one of the top grading companies, PCGS or NGC, it immediately attracted the attention of elite collectors, investors, and even museums. And as is often the case in high-end numismatics, the rarity combined with the story behind the coin pushed its value far beyond what most people would ever expect from modern currency, with intense bidding driving the final sale price to a jaw-dropping $1.63 million. And for those unfamiliar with the psychology of such sales, it's important to understand that high-end collectors are often not just buying a piece of metal, they are buying history, bragging rights, and in many cases an investment that can appreciate over time. And coins like this are often seen as tangible assets that hold value through economic ups and downs. But let's not overlook the romance of the hunt, because one of the reasons stories like this capture so much public imagination is that they make us wonder whether we too might have a fortune hiding in our pockets or old coin jars. And in the case of the 1997 P quarter, while the specific combination of errors that led to the $1.63 million sale is almost impossibly rare, there are still many valuable error quarters from this era waiting to be found, including off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and misaligned dies, each of which can significantly raise the value of an otherwise common coin. And what makes error coins so fascinating is that no two are exactly alike, meaning each one tells a unique story about the moment of its creation, a split second in the minting process when something went wrong in just the right way, and in some cases, the error is the result of human oversight. An operator failing to replace a worn die or incorrectly setting up the machinery, while in others, it is pure mechanical happenstance. But either way, these anomalies are captured forever in metal, turning what should have been an everyday object into a rare and coveted artifact. And it's worth noting that the 1997 P quarter also benefits from the fact that the Washington Quarter Series has been a mainstay of U.S. coinage since 1932. Meaning there is a deep and enduring collector base for these coins, and while earlier key dates and silver issues are always popular, the modern clad quarters with rare mint errors have been steadily gaining attention in the numismatic world, partly because they bridge the gap between older classic coins and contemporary collecting trends. And as grading technology improves and awareness grows, coins like the $1.63 million 1997 P quarter are becoming legends in their own time, sparking conversations and inspiring both seasoned collectors and newcomers to pay closer attention to the change in their pockets. And this is where knowledge becomes power, because without an understanding of the different types of mint errors and how to spot them, a valuable coin could easily slip through your fingers. So if you are serious about searching for treasures like this, it's essential to invest in a good magnifying glass, learn the key diagnostics for known varieties, and follow reputable coin news sources and auction results. And who knows? Maybe the next $1 million coin is already sitting in your desk drawer, waiting to be discovered. And that possibility, that small, thrilling chance, is what makes the world of coin collecting so addictive. And with that in mind, the story of the 1997 P quarter is more than just about one coin. It's about the enduring allure of rarity, the way human error can inadvertently create something of immense value, and the idea that treasures are still out there waiting to be found. And if hearing about a humble quarter transformed into a $1.63 million marvel has sparked your curiosity and excitement, then stick around, because there are countless more stories like this, and you never know when the next one will emerge. So if you enjoyed learning about the fascinating errors, mistakes, and possibilities that turn this everyday coin into a legendary collector's item, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and keep your eyes open for more incredible tales of rare coins and the unbelievable values they can hold. Next, 1995 $quarter coin. Now we deep dive into the fascinating and sometimes unbelievable world of rare coins, where everyday pocket change can transform into a life-changing fortune. And today we are going to explore one of the most jaw-dropping examples of this phenomenon, a small, seemingly ordinary piece of currency that has made headlines and captured the imaginations of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all over the world, the legendary 1995 $quarter that sold for an astonishing $4 million, a figure so high it almost feels impossible until you understand the story, the rarity, the historical context, and most importantly, the specific errors and minting mistakes that elevated it from being just another 25-cent piece into one of the most valuable coins in modern American numismatic history. And as we take you on this journey, you will see why people scour their pocket change, why metal detectorists roam beaches and parks, and why experienced dealers still get a glint in their eye when a 1995 $quarter lands on their desk, because while millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint in that year, only a tiny handful bear the unique characteristics that make them worth a king's ransom, and the fascinating part is that these traits were not intentional. They were the result of rare minting errors and mechanical mishaps that slipped through quality control during a time when coin production was both fast-paced and under heavy demand. So to understand the 1995 $quarter significance, we have to first set the stage. The mid-1990s were a transitional era for the United States Mint, with advances in technology beginning to change the way coins were designed, engraved, and struck, yet still relying heavily on large mechanical presses, steel dies, and manual adjustments that left room for human error. And in this environment, even the smallest deviation could create coins with anomalies: an off-center strike here, a misaligned die there, or a doubled image on certain design elements that, while going unnoticed by the general public, could be instantly recognized by trained collectors as rare treasures. And among the most coveted 1995 $quarters are those with dramatic double die of verse, where the profile of George Washington or the inscriptions such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appears slightly shadowed or overlapping, giving a ghostly doubled effect caused by the die being impressed twice with a slight shift, a mistake that is extraordinarily difficult to produce accidentally, and which is even rarer when combined with other anomalies. And then there are the off-center strikes, in which the coin's design is shifted several millimeters from its intended position, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area of the planchet exposed, a highly visual and easily identifiable error that can make the coin instantly stand out. But perhaps most intriguing of all are the wrong planchet errors, in which a quarter design is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination, such as a nickel or dime, producing a coin that is both undersized and composed of a different metal alloy than standard quarters. And such errors are incredibly scarce because the minting process is designed to catch them before they leave the facility, yet a few always seem to escape, fueling legends and multi-million-dollar sales. And experts believe that the $4 million specimen combines several of these factors. It was not only an exceptionally well-preserved example in near-perfect mint state condition, but it also displayed a strong doubled die on the obverse, a minor off-center strike, and telltale signs of having been struck on an improperly prepared planchet, a convergence of errors so statistically unlikely that it is almost miraculous. And when you pair that with the fact that very few high-grade 1995 $quarters have survived without significant wear, you begin to see why this coin was able to command such a staggering price at auction, and the story of its discovery is equally captivating, with the lucky finder reportedly coming across it in a small inherited coin collection that had been stored away in a safe deposit box for over 2 decades, where it remained untouched and protected from the damaging effects of circulation, preserving its sharp details, lustrous surfaces, and vibrant mint luster. And when it was eventually submitted to a top-tier grading service, the graders were stunned by both its condition and its rare combination of errors, assigning it one of the highest grades ever given to a 1995 $quarter, effectively cementing its status as a once-in-a-lifetime find. And when it hit the auction block, the bidding was fierce and relentless, with seasoned collectors, wealthy investors, and even institutions vying for the chance to own this numismatic marvel, driving the price up to the record-breaking $4 million mark, a sum that instantly placed it among the most valuable modern coins ever sold. And what makes stories like this so thrilling is that they serve as a reminder that incredible treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places, whether in an old coin jar in your kitchen, change from a coffee shop, or a box of forgotten collectibles in an attic. Because while the odds are slim, they are not zero, and the allure of the hunt is what keeps collectors searching, carefully examining each coin for the subtle details that others overlook, from doubling in the lettering to minute shifts in the strike. And beyond the monetary value, the 1995 P quarter carries historical importance as a product of its era, representing the last few years before the United States Mint would completely revolutionize its quarter designs with the 50-state quarters program starting in 1999, making it part of the final generation of Washington quarters to bear the traditional eagle reverse, a design beloved by many and associated with a sense of timeless Americana. And when we consider all of these factors, the rarity, the errors, the condition, the historical significance, it becomes clear why this coin became a legend and why its story continues to inspire both seasoned collectors and newcomers to the hobby. Because every coin tells a story, but some tell it more loudly and more expensively than others. And so my challenge to you is to take a closer look at your change, study your coins, learn the telltale signs of valuable errors, and never underestimate the possibility that the next multimillion-dollar treasure could be sitting quietly in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the astonishing tale of the 1995 P quarter dollar and its $4 million price tag, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another thrilling story from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. Today we are going to focus on a modern yet astonishing example of numismatic rarity that has stunned both casual hobbyists and seasoned collectors alike, because we are talking about the 1997 P quarter dollar coin that in an extraordinary case reached an astounding value of $1.4 million, all because of a rare combination of minting errors and mistakes along with pristine preservation and a perfect storm of collector demand and historical intrigue. And to fully understand how a quarter minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1997 could command such a price, we have to start by looking at the minting process itself, which, despite being highly automated and carefully monitored, can still produce errors due to mechanical failures, human oversight, or material defects. And it is in these tiny moments of imperfection that some of the most valuable coins in history are born. And in the case of this specific 1997 P quarter, which bears the small p mint mark indicating it was struck in Philadelphia, the errors that occurred were so unique that they elevated the coin into the upper echelon of modern rarities. And what makes this particular coin so exciting is that it did not have just one error, but rather a combination of several highly desirable mistakes, beginning with a dramatic double die obverse where elements like the date, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust" appear doubled under magnification due to the die receiving two impressions that were slightly misaligned. And for collectors, a strong double die is always appealing, but in this instance the doubling was crisp, bold, and unmistakable, which already placed it in a rare category. But the surprises did not stop there, because this coin was also discovered to have been struck on a transitional planchet, which is a blank metal disc intended for a different coin type or year. And such errors occur when planchets from an earlier or different production run are accidentally fed into the press, creating a coin with an incorrect composition for its date and mint mark. And for 1997 this could mean a composition intended for a foreign contract coin or even a leftover from a different denomination. And these transitional errors are considered among the most valuable in all of numismatics because they are both extremely rare and visually subtle, making them elusive to casual observers. And adding to the mystique was the fact that this coin also exhibited a broad strike error, meaning it was struck without the retaining collar fully engaging, which caused the coin to spread slightly beyond its intended diameter and resulted in a lack of the standard reeded edge. And when you combine a bold double die with a transitional planchet and a broad strike, the rarity multiplies exponentially, because the odds of all three happening on the same coin and that coin then surviving in pristine condition are astronomically low. And yet, against all odds, this 1997 P quarter did survive, and not just survive but remain in near perfect mint state condition, showing no signs of circulation wear, which meant that when it was finally examined by professional graders it received a top-tier grade such as MS 68 or possibly higher, and at that level of preservation coupled with its dramatic eras, the coin became a once-in-a-lifetime find, and as soon as it hit the auction block it sparked a frenzy among high-end collectors and investors because the numismatic market values uniqueness above all else, and here was a coin that was not just unique, but unique in multiple dimensions with its combination of striking errors, wrong planchet, unusual edge, and immaculate condition, making it an irresistible target for those who collect at the highest level. And in the high-stakes world of rare coin auctions, bidding wars can escalate quickly, especially when wealthy collectors and institutions realize that a coin is not only historically important, but may never surface again, and in this case the excitement was palpable, with each new bid pushing the price higher until it ultimately reached the staggering $1.4 million mark, and for the person who discovered or owned this coin it was undoubtedly a life-changing event, transforming what was once thought to be a simple piece of pocket change into a historic numismatic treasure. And the beauty of stories like this is that they inspire everyday people to look closer at the coins they handle, because while the exact combination of errors seen on this 1997 P quarter is virtually unique, there are many other valuable error coins still circulating or hidden away in collections and jars waiting to be discovered, and these can include off-center strikes where the design is noticeably shifted to one side, die cracks where raised lines appear on the surface due to a damaged die, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing from the edge, or even more exotic mistakes like multiple strikes where the coin was struck more than once, resulting in overlapping images. And while most errors are worth only modest premiums, some can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, especially when they occur on popular series like the Washington Quarter, and when found in uncirculated condition their value can climb dramatically. And this is why knowledge is the most powerful tool for any aspiring treasure hunter, because recognizing the subtle signs of a valuable mint error takes practice, research, and attention to detail, but the rewards can be immense. And the story of the $1.4 million 1997 P quarter proves that it is possible for a modern coin to achieve legendary status. And while some might dismiss such values as speculative or driven by hype, the reality is that in numismatics, as in art, the market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand, and a coin that checks all three boxes can achieve results that seem almost unbelievable to outsiders. And beyond the financial aspect, there is also the historical and artistic value, because coins are not just currency, they are miniature works of art and artifacts of their time, reflecting the politics, culture, and technology of the era in which they were made. And a coin with a dramatic error tells an even richer story because it captures a moment when the precision of the minting process faltered and something truly unique was created and preserved. And so the 1997 P quarter that sold for $1.4 million is not just a piece of metal, it is a symbol of the enduring allure of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the remarkable fact that even in our modern age treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. And if this story has sparked your curiosity, then it might be time to start looking more closely at the change in your own pocket, because you never know when you might stumble upon the next great numismatic legend. And if you have enjoyed this deep exploration into the incredible errors, mistakes, and possibilities that made the 1997 P quarter such a valuable coin, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us again for more unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins, where history, art, and fortune meet in the palm of your hand.